Imagine legions of the sick marching on the hospitals when there won't be enough drugs, there won't be enough beds, and there won't be enough doctors. People in here, raise your hands, believe we're living in a toxic world. Cool. I want to assure you that this is, we're Newport Beach, right? Okay. Newport Beach drinking water. And what I'm going to do for this audience today is I'm going to risk my life for you by doing this. Right around 500 toxic chemicals: mercury, iodine, arsenic, Prozac, Zoloft, Wellbutrin, Lipitor, and birth control pills. And I don't think I need to take birth control pills, but apparently I am. In my audience, anybody, can you tell me, I'll wait, please shout it out, name a drug that makes you healthy. What would it be? Now, if you're a type 1 diabetic, you better take insulin. If you have seizures, you better take anti-seizure medication. But do you really think that depression is Prozac deficiency? You think ADD is Adderall and Ritalin deficiency? What have we been giving to our children? I have 2 sons. When they were little, what did we used to do? They'd go to the doctor with a sore throat and he'd give them amoxicillin, despite the fact that antibiotics have no impact on viral infections. We're evolving as a species. These superbugs are now, they're here. This isn't next week. This isn't science fiction. This isn't in 10 years. It's now. In this country right now, we have 10% of the world's population. We now consume 50% of the antibiotics in the world. 80% of those are given to chickens, cows, and pigs. You might want to consider hormone and antibiotic free. You might want to consider eating any livestock that is fed grass, not corn. Food is dependent on the soil in which it's grown, right? Is there anyone disagreeing with that? No? Well, I want to read a study to you presented to the U.S. Senate on the condition of our soils in North America. The leading authorities of the day have been sounding the alarm that depleted soils were causing a significant decline in the nation's health, evidenced by a steady increase in degenerative diseases. Do you know that most of us today are suffering from certain dangerous diet deficiencies, which cannot be remedied until the depleted soils from which our foods come are brought in a proper mineral balance? Remember that for later, mineral balance. The alarming fact is that foods, fruits, and vegetables and grains now being raised on millions of acres of land no longer contain enough of certain needed minerals, and they're starving us no matter how much of them we eat. It is bad news to learn from our leading authorities that 99% of the American people are deficient in these minerals, and that a marked deficiency in one or more of the important minerals actually results in disease. Just read the date. It's in yellow at the bottom, the date of this report.
June 1936.
June 1936, how are we doing? June 1936. Your body cannot count calories. The only way it can measure calories is in a laboratory. But you're all counting them. The body doesn't give a hoot about calories. It only cares about what Dr. Wallach and the other scientists have said. It cares about nutrients. And imagine we're in California and you went to the beach, a little cool today maybe, but tomorrow it's going to be 70. Blow up a beach ball. And inside the beach ball, when you blew it up, you notice it was like 1 grain of sand. That grain of sand would represent in the mass of the beach ball the amount of nutrients. That's what we're doing. You think you can eat yourself into wellness? Food will never be enough again, period. Period. For the first time in the history of the world this year, more children will die of obesity than starvation. In 7 years, they project that 80% of America will be overweight in just 7 years. How we doing? How's that diet and exercise working? 13% of all children who die in autopsy studies have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And 38% of obese children have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. 25% of Americans have excessive fat in their livers. How many of you would do anything to get down to the weight on your driver's license? Anybody? That can't be me. How many, really, if you're honest, you don't have to raise your hands, are living a less than lifestyle because you've learned to accept the fact that, well, I'm only 20 pounds overweight, but my friends are 40 pounds overweight. The food companies have spent almost $1 billion trying to determine how they can get us to eat more. They have created something called the bliss point. The bliss point means that you're at a point when you eat food, your brain is stimulated to the point where you're excited and you feel good, but not enough to be satisfied, not enough to be satiated. When you lower the nutrients, the first thing that happens in the body is the S, you now raise stress. And when the body is in stress, we produce a hormone called cortisol. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But the bottom line with cortisol is it prevents your body from burning fat. It destroys your lean muscle mass. It destroys your bone density. But other than that, it's great stuff. Who wants to take a guess what's the #1 killer in the United States? Heart attack, diabetes, cancer. What? Yes, ma'am. What is it?
Stress.
You're absolutely right. Stanford Medical School. #1 killer in North America is stress. The #1 stressor, by the way, is money. It's called an economic stressor. So the bottom line is that stress now has a major impact on us because of cortisol. And remember, it's long-term cortisol. They have to have a new personality type. You know, type A and type B. They have a new one called type C, which is high cortisol, chronic stress. No wonder we're sick. No wonder we're fat. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. We better start having a new conversation. Does everyone agree with that? A new conversation. The point is that all of what I believed, and more importantly, what these great minds believed, do you know what they finally admitted? We thought we knew. They said, what we thought we knew wasn't right. Because we were attacking one small part of the problem. Go to your doctor, you're tired, you're overweight, etc. What are we going to do? Diet and exercise. My co-author on the book, Dr. Dennis Harper, tells me all the time, Peter, it's the practice of medicine. Just hope I don't have to practice on you. But we can do something. Food is the most effective medicine ever given to mankind. If you use it correctly. Everything in moderation. It doesn't mean for the rest of your life, you can have a piece of pizza if you want, you can have spaghetti. But wouldn't it be prudent to avoid those things that we now have unequivocal evidence are destroying your immune system? Did you think that being overweight would destroy your immune system? And now are you ready for the superbug with no immune system? Instead of talking about a problem that is like single focus, talk about the situation. Now, in order to solve that, see, here's what I believe. The reason that I took so much time to lay out the situation for you is how in the world would you ever come up with a solution or a resolution if you don't understand the situation? How would you do that? This is not impossible. It's impossible if you continue to do what you did before you came in here today. I did not come to scare you, but I came to make you aware. Because after today, there's no place to hide, there's no place to run, and thinking you know, let me know how that turns out.